I'm not seeing you, Wes.
I'm just now started to hear you. I don't see you either.
That's
Are
weird.
we, are we on the air? I think we are.
We're on the air. I'm on the air. I
Okay.
see myself. I don't see you for some reason. You
So am I not in your OBS?
No, you were there a second ago. Let me see if I change scenes. No, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what.
Your stream disappeared. Like as soon as we hit the countdown, your stream ended in Discord.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. So then that must be why it went away. I hope this doesn't mess things up.
Watch stream. Boom. All right. Well, I see you again now.
Well, that's always good, right? Hey, we did it, Wes.
We did
We
it,
did it.
dude.
Oh.
We
We
did it,
just
Wes.
we assumed that moving from Zoom to Discord was a good idea.
Mm.
Now I'm starting to have second thoughts.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, Dave Station VR, because you're the one that planted the little seed in my head. We got a couple questions for you, and we'll ask them off air. But one of them is like, what just happened? I don't know. Um, we,
Anyway,
yeah. Well, at least we were here, and I don't know. It just basically disconnected. Once you disconnected, and that might solve the problem, the first problem we were talking about, Wes, because if I make sure that you're in there with your camera first and I join after, that might pop everything into place the right way, and then I won't have to resize screens. So we'll see. We'll mess with it.
we will try that on Wednesday for Strangers in the Night, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And other than that, we're good, Wes. And I do have a little confession to you and to some of the people that watched my Returnal stream last night. I played some afterwards, and I had this banger run going, man. I had like this huge bar. I was getting parasites that were phenomenal. Like I was just all excited. I was setting it up for my next stream, right? And then I got overwhelmed. I think feel like I got greedy, Wes. And then next thing I knew, I was dead. And I was thank God I didn't waste my ether. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Returnal. It's the PlayStation 5 game that's taken over my life. But other than that, yeah, it's exciting.
As I was telling you, it's always a gamble in that game. It's literally like gambling. Should I fight the boss?
Mm.
Should I continue to build? You generally it's a good idea to continue to build, but every now and then those enemies will sneak up on you and game over just like that.
I'm loving the rooms. I came across my first room that it was yellow that had a star on it. Um, because it's crazy, but the reward in there, that's how I got that big chunk of life, right? Because I went in there and I just trashed everything, and there was all sorts of life that I could get, and there was one that gave me like a big boost, significant boost, to my life and my life force. And so I was all excited because I had enough ether. I was going to get in that big machine thing. I had seen that the astronaut was there, like the everything was there, was. And then I
Yep.
died to some chintzy ass fucking thing that I shouldn't have died to from some stupid. And another thing that I don't know if you were there when I told everybody, but I remapped because I saw a video where somebody recommended it. I remapped my dash to the R1 button because you have to take your thumb off of the right joystick to hit that circle, and it's one less way of being maneuverable. And they said you may be a pain for a while till you get used to it, but you're going to be thanking me down the road because it's gonna be next level. So we'll see.
Yeah, I read that as well, but by the time I read that, I was already weeks into the game and
Mm.
wasn't about to change the buttons up on it.
Oh, Mash says he
Anyway,
should have brought his PS5 on vacation. Yeah, Mash, what the hell is wrong
there
with
you
you,
go.
bro?
Lipnox VR in the chat says the quality looks better, I think. So there you go. Technical issues notwithstanding, maybe Discord is the way to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to figure depending on the platform. Just for instance, YouTube versus Twitch. Some platforms throttle your bandwidth, right? So I would imagine maybe Discord allows you to do different stuff through it. I don't know. I don't know how it works, bro. What I would do, what I would recommend for you, this would actually benefit you, is to do the nitro for the Discord. One, it helps the channel, Discord, and then also it'll give you 1080p versus 720 camera.
So see, I did not know that. I didn't even know what the nitro thing is. I see people doing it all the time. No idea what it does or how to do it, but I'll look into it now that I know that.
Yeah, I did it because we were streaming a lot to me and Mash and Jim to Discord, and I noticed watching Mash's and Jim's streams how crappy it looked. I was not going to slum it with their non-nitro crap, so I I decided to nitro it. So it's
There
cool.
you go. Anyway, now that the technical issues are all behind us and we've had our Returnal update, allow me to welcome you to Virtual Strangers 115. As many of you, if not all of you, already know, I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Roots. Roots, the summer gaming season is upon us, and we've been talking about it for probably 4, 5, even 6 weeks now. But I feel like it's now starting to get into full swing, and it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very overwhelming. Too many games, and a lot of stuff on the horizon. Lipnox VR says Nitro also lets you use emotes, which is actually kind of cool because, like, if you have Nitro, I believe if you're a sub to my Twitch, you'll be able to use my Twitch emotes in the. Who doesn't want to do the double thumbs up roots? So,
There you go. I mean, that's a reason to do it all in itself, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, overwhelming amount of releases, new game information dropping on an almost daily basis now. I mean, we've got Strangers in the Night coming up in like 2 or 3 days. And I'm still not 100% sure what the final lineup's going to be for the show because we have so much to choose from, and I don't want to leave any of it out. I guess it's just going to all depend on what I feel like playing tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody was asking me in my stream about a game that I can't talk about, if I was going to buy it or not, and I said I can't confirm or deny that I'm may or may not be playing it. But I'm excited to check out some stuff and talk about it. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, things we can talk about this week potentially. We could talk about the Synth Riders Caravan DLC, which which is released and available to the public right now. We can talk about Yuki, which comes out in a few days, but I saw PD and Gamertag do videos on it today, so that must mean the embargo's up. So we could possibly do Yuki. Um, what else? I mean, there's Squingle. I'm trying to tell people they need to go buy Squingle, but nobody's going to
Mm,
believe me until we cover it properly. So
mm.
we're going to have to do that at some point.
I need to do
And
that.
then there's that other thing, that surprise thing that we can't mention until it drops. But it's going to be a good week, guys. It's
Yeah,
going to be a good week.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I definitely need to get into every single thing that you just talked about there. Embargo's up,
Uh,
Mash said.
yeah. I noticed it early this morning when I got the notification that GT was going live. See, Arvor very kind to allow us review access to both the PC and Quest versions of Yuki. I don't know, probably a week ago, and this is one of those occasions. We're a small channel. I normally have to go out and ask for the keys we get. Never the case with Arvor. They have
Mm,
always approached me and said, "You guys are awesome. Thanks for the coverage. Do you want keys?" So we've had keys for these ones for a while, but they're so cool about it. They never even mentioned an embargo, and I just have been assuming that there was one. I was going to actually send them an email tomorrow to ask them if it's going to be up on Tuesday or up on Thursday, but apparently it's up on Sunday.
we missed it. We missed the embargo. I feel like the PlayStation 5s just went live. We missed the notification and they're all sold out already. It's like, oh man,
Right.
what the hell? Yeah. Well, no. Now let me ask you this: do you think they're going to have hidden content creators in their game again, like they did in didn't they both of them, right? Both pixel reps, or is it just the second one?
Uh, they did. They had a lot more in the second one, but there were some in the first one as well. Frank cut a video for the first one. You
Hmm.
know, it was on that TV that you turn on.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I'm just curious to see what's going to be in there. I'm not saying I expect to be in there, but I just curious to see who is.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't expect it. It's a different type of game than Pixel Rip, but
Well,
you never know. You
there's
never know. There might be some Easter eggs in there
well,
somewhere.
okay, so we say it's a different type of game because all we've seen is gameplay, and they didn't. But we know that it's an action figure, and they show you picking it up, and you know what I mean. There's got to be some kind of story to it. That's my guess. We'll see, but something that ties it together, right? The other two, there was a whole different narrative story to it, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, tons to talk about today. We don't want to dilly dally in the intro too long, but before we get to any of that, we should kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. And Scion joining us, gracing us with his present for a second day in a row, Roots.
I know he's saying, "What is this get mystery game?" Mystery game is Mist 2, the sequel.
Now, Miss Two's called Driven,
Oh, that's
Roots.
right. It's coming though, right?
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
That's what
eventually.
I hear. Lip Knox is in the chat. We already said hello to him. Traveling Man 3775 excited for 115. I'm excited for it myself. Lip Knox says that Squingle game is definitely on the playlist. It's cool, dude. Especially if you like to indulge yourself in a little bit of Colorado time here and there. You're gonna love that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't wait. Squingle. It's in my library. It's waiting. It's ready to play. And yeah, I definitely want to. If you're saying if it's as good as you say it is, then I want to try it to enjoy it and so that we can showcase it.
We have I don't know how to pronounce this one. We have a new name that I don't recognize. Viscus. Ev Viscus. He says hi, hello, and welcome. I'm glad you've found our channel, and I hope you like VR because we're about to break it down for you.
I think it's EV Man Virtual Strangers Gas. No, I don't know.
You got the
Maybe.
gas, bro.
Yeah, he's
Got
got the
that
gas.
nitro.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Diz the Game Cat sliding in with his eyeballs. He's checking out. See everybody. And Chris Richardson enjoys the Colorado time. Oh well, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I call it. I call it Colorado time. I call it getting properly motivated. I got a couple other names for it.
Yeah, yeah. I heard there's some slang terms out there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I don't know what
oh,
the slang of the youth is weird, but I think that's just me getting old.
yeah, yeah, that's a definitely getting old. It's like that effect when you start to notice that Walmart's carrying nicer clothes. No, they're not. That's just you, bro, getting old.
Yeah, no, or like you hear something loud music and you're like, it's very annoying. And when you were younger, it'd be like that's how you would have cranked it, right? Crank that shit up.
So it's EV man versus gas. I'm assuming EV being electronic vehicle or something to that effect. He likes electric cars.
Oh,
That's why they
nice, nice. Gaming science teacher, just researching.
gaming science teacher.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
a, no, same thing. What's a MM in my state?
M&M's, bro.
Oh,
Chocolate.
well,
They melt in your mouth, not in your hand.
you know who else likes things melt? Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. Well, we'll play it, but I'm not gonna finish it.
My mom!
All right.
All right, Mepper is joining us in the chat, as is Space Dennison. Of course, Mash Daddy is around as always. How dedicated is Masher, man? Showing up for the shows even when he's not home.
He's on the plane right now, 35,000 feet on his way to Dominican Republic, watching Virtual Strangers.
Living it up. Jet setting like Ric Flair.
Yeah, dude. Have a drink for me, Mash, when you land.
Corporate Zombie, Traveling Man. Island Kara showing up for the big swarm news this week, obviously.
Yeah.
Ray Delator in the chat, as is D-Rail. Oh, D-Rail's pumped for the Hellsweeper, as am I. I feel there were a lot of questions as they released that trailer this morning. A lot of questions about what that game's going to be.
Oh,
And I found some answers, Roots. I have the answers.
okay. Yeah. Well, answers are good. Chris Richardson clears it up and says MM is medical Mary Jane. So I should know that.
Uh,
I should know that. And it's pretty much. I think it's going to be nationwide. I'm starting to.
well, it is. It already is, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a loophole in the Farm Bill, and it's happened over the last couple of months here in Kentucky that you can go into any gas station and buy what they call Delta 8. And do you know what Delta 8 is, Roots?
I'm assuming it's marijuana.
It's hemp extract.
Oh.
It's highly concentrated hemp extract, and
Uh,
it's about this much chemically different than the popularized marijuana that they sell in I don't know, some 20 some states now.
hmm.
But for the rest of everyone else who has a vape pen, you can go to the Shell Mart now and pick up Delta 8, and I hear it's very similar.
Huh. That's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what. They have yeah, vape stuff here, but it's not Delta. Delta 8. It's not the Delta variant. That's
No,
crazy.
the stuff that you guys get is called Delta 9.
Oh,
So there's only that one little number difference between the two.
I wonder what the difference is. There's got to be a difference. They make it sound like there's no difference, but I kind of wonder what it is.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know, but I hear that it's not very big. Not a very big difference. And Litmox VR says, I love highly concentrated extract. He's joking, of course, as we all are. We're all joking, right?
Oh
We
yeah,
don't know
absolutely.
anything about that.
Yeah, more.
Uh,
I lean towards
anyway,
flour, but yeah.
hello to all of our dope fiends in the chat. Let's talk some headlines, Roots. Lots to talk about this week. And I had to put this one at the very top because it's pretty much been the topic of the week on the Discord. Headline: Steam Deck has connectivity for VR, but not the performance. Let me repeat that for you dreamers out there, just in case you didn't catch what I just said. Steam Deck has the connectivity for VR, but not the performance. If anyone is out there buying this solely as a VR device, save your money. It ain't going to work.
Well, they'll try. You know, I don't know, man. There's so much hype around this whole thing. I think it's cool. To me, it's just
Yeah.
another cool toy, another way to play your Steam games. But then I saw so many different discussions in the Discord about this thing, and people coming at it from a point of versus Switch, and it's bizarre to me because, like, and maybe I'm naive. Like when I wanted a Switch, it was so that I could play Mario. It was so I could play Zelda. It was so I could play Metroid. It was so I could play all the
Thank you.
Nintendo exclusives.
Thank you.
And it's just been in the last couple of years that we've started seeing all these additional games coming to Switch. There was not a time, it was not that long ago where you know, you looked at a Switch and it was all Nintendo. There was no, and then all of a sudden you got a couple games here or there, and it was like, oh God, they're starting to do real games, you know, or I guess real games as far as what they would consider Steam games. And then all of a sudden they carried everything, and that's great. But no, everybody that like even Derail, he's got his Switch, so he's going to get a Steam one as well because he loves handheld games. Nobody's running out to get this thing except for enthusiasts, and it's just bizarre, man. It's just one
Well, a
more
few
thing.
people are. A few people are that are not enthusiasts. There are a few because the very adept marketing team at Steam knows what they're doing.
True.
I mean, what do you do when you have a product that that people might not throw their money down for after they've had time to think about it? Well, you announce it one day, and you take pre-orders the next.
Yeah.
You make people get hyped up for something, and then you tell them if you want to get it, you have to get it now. And then all these impulse buys soon follow. Now, of course, some of those people will cancel their order before they get theirs, but some of them won't. And I guarantee you, everyone that Steam makes for probably the first year is going to be pre-ordered, and people are going to have them. And again, what you said is correct. This is a cool piece of tech for somebody who plays Steam games, like flat games. This is great, man. You get to uh take your Steam library with you in your pocket. I mean, it's awesome. Um, but there's a lot of confusion out there with whether or not this will play VR. And I think anyone who knows anyone who knows their stuff and reads the spec sheet, it's pretty obvious that it's not going to run smoothly. It might boot, but it's not going to be playable.
Yeah, yeah. Why would you even do that to yourself, right? But yeah, taking it in a hotel room and be able to hook it up to a TV or something and play all your Steam library, especially for people that travel, businessmen or whatever, it's amazing. It could be a phenomenal thing, right?
And here's something else, too, that I don't hear people talking about. You mentioned Nintendo Switch, and most people who are proponents for the Steam Deck are talking about it as if it's going to be a competitor to the Switch. Well, you mentioned, well, people aren't just buying the Switch because it's a handheld, they're buying it because all of the Mario exclusives are on there, all the Zelda exclusives are on there. In addition to that, Switch comes with a dock to hook it up to your television and play if you want to. Now there is a dock for the Steam Deck that will do the same thing, but it does not come with it. You have to buy it
Mm.
separately, which I think is
Yes,
a crock.
it is. It's a crock. And you know what else is a crock is what D-Row was saying. Check. He said he's probably gonna sell it. Look at eBay. I saw somebody. It was like they were. It was they were selling the spot in line to get one, maybe for like $800 or something. I'm like, are you like, what is this whole world, this whole scalping thing? And it's, I mean, it's
It's a
technology,
rush.
it's
It's
rush.
a rush. If you want some of this stuff, man, it's a rush when you finally get it. It really is.
Well, it was a rush for me when I sidestepped the nightmare and paid a little bit more to get to not deal with it. But just because the time it takes, man. I mean, it's a lot of time and a lot of refreshing and hitting and hitting and hitting. I'm old school. I want to go to Best Buy. I want to walk in. I want to say, hey, can I pick up the Steam handheld? And they pull it out and they hand it to me, and I walk away. Or I just go to Steam and order it from there, since that's how Steam sells their stuff. But I'm just not big on limited stuff. So five
Yeah.
grand on
Anyway,
eBay, 5 grand.
again, I don't want to come off overly negative here. I do think that this is an awesome machine. It's very capable. It's like a mid-range gaming laptop in terms of the CPU performance of it. Um,
It's
but it's in
definitely
that
amazing.
compact it comes in that compact package though, and when you put something in such a small package, uh, then you have to take heat into consideration.
Mm,
And the more graphically beefy the insides of the thing is, the more heat you have to dispel, and not to mention that battery life.
mm.
So I mean, we're not talking about a mobile processor. This is not a custom made XR2. We're talking about a full fledged AMD APU this thing's running. Uh, but they couldn't make it, too powerful, or else it would eat through your battery in 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, everything you just said about the heat dispersion makes me feel good when I look it over at the back of the PlayStation 5. It's just like built to push heat out, man. They really did a good job on this console.
Yeah, when you take that cover off too, there are some nifty ways to clean it up.
I'm not taking that cover off. I heard it's actually pretty easy. I heard that you can
Yeah.
actually, there's a release valve for the disc. Like, so if you get it stuck, like if it craps out, you got to send it in RMA to pop off the back. There's a little lever that you can spin with a screwdriver, and it'll manually pop the disc out. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool indeed.
Yep.
Anyway, next headline: Facebook cancels mind reading research project. So Facebook, much like Valve, has spent many years into trying to read people's minds through their skulls for applications in VR and AR. And they've made a lot of progress with regards to this, but they have recently decided that this being a meaningful technology is still many, many years away, and they've decided to stop their research uh, from going in this direction and instead concentrate on their wrist worn devices, which accurately read your nerves in your arm to determine what your hands are doing. So they already have a very uh, nice working prototype of that technology that they really want to bring the final push in to bring that thing to market. So they've not only stopped working on their BCE research, but they're publishing it and making it all open source. All of their software, all of their research, even their prototype hardware, they're going to share with people because they're out, dude. They're going to let Gaben have this one.
It makes you wonder what, like, maybe they've done something else. Maybe they don't need it anymore. They found a way to do it without, from within, right? They don't even need the peripheries. There's a reason you don't just give away your research. I'm like, I can understand if you were like solving the cure for cancer and you're like, you know what, I just want to, for the good of the cure, I'm gonna put it out there. I just don't see Facebook doing that just for, it's weird. But it is cool, the wrist thing. Can you imagine if they use those things, you could use that somehow for wireless gaming and haptics. You know what I mean? If you could do it in a way to make you feel like you were really interacting with stuff, then you would just slap on these wrist things, and then you don't have to be holding controllers and you're doing your hand things or whatever. It'd be pretty cool.
I envision a future Roots where I'm playing Half-Life Alex, and I can crush the cans.
Oh God. Well, we can do that with an index controller if you really, really want to.
What? What's that?
Oh yeah, that's right. Index. Index 2.
Speaking of which, headline: Facebook headsets now account for more than 60% of the headsets used on Steam, and half of those Roots, Oculus Quest 2.
That's crazy. It shows you worth how things. I mean, it's only been what, 6 months, 7 months? How quickly things are moving, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
selling
yeah.
headsets myself. I've literally talked just like we sell games. I'm talking to a customer about VR, and the person's ordering it on their phone. I just ordered it. It's gonna be here on Tuesday. So and I'm not just the only one out there talking about VR, seeing VR, experiencing it. And almost everybody's aware of it now, whether they've dismissed it in their head as something that they don't want to do or can't do, or it's going to make them sick or whatever. That's a little different story. So,
What it really does is it highlights the perception out there. Reading online comments, you would think that the vast majority of people are against buying Facebook products because of privacy concerns.
mm,
Justifiably. I'm not going to argue that. Um, but it just goes to show you out there that the comments online aren't always an accurate representation of reality. That typically it's the malcontents who are out there, typing in their comments on day in, day out basis, while the silent majorities in VR having a good old time as Facebook records their every move.
well, and it depends. Let's look at it this way, and it just depends on how people are. Our age demographic, most people are already invested in Facebook. So I got to have a Facebook account. I already have one. I mean, it's only a problem for people that don't have one already, right? Uh, I mean, I know people that, I guess there's a problem with linking it per se, because for the perception, but anybody coming into VR now has no idea that that's not how it's always been. You know, it's a Facebook product. You have to link into your Facebook. You know, you want to use your. I don't know if you want to use anything else. You got to link into whatever account it is as well. If you want to play a Ubisoft game, if you want to play a Steam game, you got to log into Steam, right? So
Yeah, 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 exactly. You got to have a Sony account to play PlayStation.
yep, absolutely. Gaming science teacher says she didn't know Facebook was working on head-mounted BCI. You know what? I was actually looking into this story a little bit deeper, which was kind of cool. Wes is they were looking at it more from a perspective, and I never really thought of this of typing with your mind, 300 words per minute or whatever. Can you imagine if you're just able to dictate typing straight from your mind from somebody that does that as a good majority of their job? How, I mean, that's game changer. You know what I mean? So there is good things about it. So
Yeah, and their research that they were doing is actually kind of a different type of BCI research. It's some kind of optical imagery based BCI that sounds quite different than the work that Valve's doing.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what's kind of cool is everybody's doing their own little thing. It'll all come together when it's supposed to, and that's going to blow us all away.
Headline: Phil Spencer quote: Quest 2 offers the best VR experience Xbox software on headsets possible. So once again, we have our periodic biannual statement on VR from Xbox head Phil Spencer, who once again, as he always does, shot down the idea of uh, VR for Xbox, saying that Oculus Quest 2 is great as it is. It's the best in the business at the moment, and he could see no reason why he would need to tether a device like that to an Xbox. But with that said, he could see some possible applications in the future with regards to Xbox software running on such a device through cloud streaming. So interesting. Uh, the first time we've ever actually heard, well, not the first time, the second time we've ever seen Phil Spencer show any kind of interest in doing anything with VR.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's weird about it is, what does it mean? You know, is it Game Pass? Is it flat games? Is it flat games in 3D? Is it streaming VR games? And you know what I mean? Like they just acquired a lot of studios that do VR games, right? I mean, just because you aren't necessarily interested in connecting anything to your Xbox, that's the whole thing. Is people, obviously Microsoft has a stake in VR, but why do they have to bring it together with Xbox? Maybe they've just decided, look, we're going to keep it its own thing, where they're going to do their thing, we're doing our thing, and we're going to focus more on streaming our games to all the headsets, and you know what I mean. And it probably will be through Game Pass, and it probably will be in some way, form, or fashion, to where you can play all of your games, your whole library in a virtual desktop type of thing that just pulls it up. And I would be surprised if down the road it doesn't have a 3D option, which all of that sounds awesome to me.
A gaming science teacher in the chat says she has an education conference in 15 minutes. She just wanted to stop by and say hello. So thanks for coming by, GST. Enjoy your conference.
Yeah, absolutely. We always love to see you, and I love how Wes said enjoy and teacher conference in the same sentence.
Anyway, Roots, with regards to Xbox and VR, whether or not they come out with a headset for Xbox, I really don't care.
Me
All I
neither.
care about, I want I want Hellblade VR. I want them to support VR with the Hellblade sequel. And if they don't, I'm going to be devastated.
And I was just having this conversation with somebody. Actually, I've had it a lot since I've had the PlayStation 5 and had a chance to play it. I don't get the decision to have Xbox at this point. And even I had this discussion with my son because he recently bought one of the new Xboxes. And he's loving it, and that's great. But I just don't believe. I think Sony on every level, whether it be the no loaded, the loading, the Tempest audio, the controllers, the way the rumbling, everything, has kicked it up to the next level, bro. And I feel like Xbox just put out another console, you know, and you can feel it. I can feel it anyway.
Well, Game Pass is a cool thing, man. For people who are gaming on a budget, Game Pass is spectacular. My whole thing with it is if you've got a PC, you don't need an Xbox, right? If you got a PC, you can play all those games. You don't need an Xbox.
Yeah,
So if you don't have a gaming PC and you're gaming on a budget, I could certainly see why Xbox would be tempting at that point, especially the cheaper model, the 1080p version. I mean, that thing's only like $300 or something, and you can get that. You can play Game Pass all you want,
that's true.
and it's very consumer friendly.
It would kill me. Returnal, Dark Souls or whatever it's called, Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank. Those three of the best exclusives for the PlayStation 5. I have them right here, and I can't play them anywhere else. But you've got a very valid point. For anybody that doesn't have a PC, it's an amazing way to have access to all of those awesome titles for an amazing price.
Yeah, yeah. Headline: Moss and Gorn join the Platinum Club with 1 million units sold. Roots, not $1 million, 1 million units sold. So we're talking about $30 a pop for Moss. We're talking about $30 million. We're talking about $20 a pop for Gorn. We're talking about $20 million. Uh, Long gone are the days where people can't make money in VR anymore.
Yeah, no, it's just got to hit every platform. You have to every one of these games have something in common. They kept plugging away, kept adding stuff. One of the things that what interested me about this article, Wes, was the info on Beat Saber and how many units it's sold and how much money it's made. And then my first thought was, wow, I wonder if Oculus feels like they made the right decision on picking them up. Is this like what $130 million now or something insane, dude? Beat Saber is the number one VR game that's sold out there, period, right?
Yeah, and it makes you wonder about these independent studios, these small studios like the Super Hot team, for example. Those guys must be rolling in it because they're a relatively small group and they haven't been bought out by anyone yet that we know of.
I know. And I was thinking about that today too. There's still a couple of really good studios out there waiting to get snatched up. It's going to be who gets them. And Onikazi says, "Act sorry, he was busy, frustrated with kids not trying in Echo Arena." Well, my advice would be don't play Echo Arena. You'll be okay.
Anyway, yeah, lots of money in VR, lots of good studios left to be acquired. Chief among them, Resolution Games, who have now raised $25 million in investment in their Series C funding. The articles that I've read have also gone on the note that Demio has already uh, made them multiple millions of dollars in its short time that it's been on the market.
Well, that's timing, dude. That couldn't have been a more perfect timing to put out a Dungeons of Dragons like type of game when all these massive people coming in, right? It's the only thing of its type. It's amazing. And I was looking in this article, the different games. You know what I mean? Like they were listing all the games, and it was like you could see almost like a stepping ladder, right? As they've moved up, each game's gotten better and better and better, and kind of makes me sad to say this, but I can't wait to see what next they have. Because one of the things that they said that they're going to use a lot of this money is to invest in future stuff, but also put into games that invested that they've already started, like Demio, right? But I don't. Hopefully, they don't put too much of it into Demio, and they come out with something even better with the next level game.
Well, with each release, Resolution Games has doubled down betting on themselves and reinvesting in their studio, and it shows. It shows with where they're at today and where they're going, quickly becoming. Well, I'd say that they're the leader with regards to VR party games, and I don't think there's really even a close second. Resolution has that space on lock.
And that's what I was thinking when I read this article, because I thought about Angry Birds and how good it was when it came out. But it was Angry Birds, Angry Birds in VR, and then which was amazing. but then they Demio, it's like Angry Birds. They hit a double, right? And then they came up with Demio. They just fucking not only hit it into the stands, they it went out of the park. You know what I mean? And it's cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, and a good bunch of people too, by the way. Couldn't happen to nicer folks.
Yeah, it's always good.
Racket and X wants to become an Olympic sport, and it just took an important step closer. They actually, if you read this article, um, they're trying to get Racket NX to qualify as an Olympic event, not something that you can compete in and medal, but something that's recognized like chess by the International Olympic Committee.
Hmm.
And apparently, one of the steps to doing that is gaining endorsement from an accredited um, source, which they have now done. Some like racquetball uh, federation has endorsed Racket NX. And you know where this place is based, Roots?
I
This
I do actually. I was actually what's funny is I haven't played the game. I played it once. Now I got to learn. I got to learn how, Wes, because it's local, bro. It's right down the street, dude.
Yeah, yeah, and we got to represent our country, Roots. I mean, you know, one of these days we could be like 70-year-old Olympic athletes playing Racket NX.
That would be awesome. I'll tell you what. This is my future promise to future Roots is Racket NX run for the Olympics. I promise never to turn my back on the flag, and I promise to try my hardest. That's all I can do. I don't want to break anything, Wes, because this is racquetball in VR, and there's a lot of flipping and smacking, and I thought this was pretty cool. I should have picked it up the other day. Now that I'm thinking about it, when it was on sale, right? Or is it still on sale?
It may be in one of the bundles.
Yeah,
No, no. Well, let me think. It was. Let's see. It was. Yeah, yeah. It was Sports Scramble and Racket NX, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah,
were saying it was.
$38.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
it was a good deal. Well, I'll tell you what. It's Colorado Springs. We do have an Olympic. I mean, we really do have Olympic training stuff here. So it's kind of cool that that's something that's local. I don't know how I would. I guess I would have to try it. Do you try out for this thing? I don't think you try out here though. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. Still a long way to go for them to be getting recognized. They just have started down that path. To be quite honest, I'd be shocked if this happens in our lifetimes. But
Mm,
the world is becoming more and more digitized every day. If I had gone back 10 years even and explained today's world to my
no,
younger self, I would not have believed it.
there's no
So.
way, dude. Have you heard about the 21 giants in 21 cities? That look into that. They're going to build 21 giants. They want to build these 21 800-story. I don't know how feet tall stories, things that giants that can talk and they can change into whatever like historical figure, like Einstein or whatever. It's really weird, really creepy, but it's actually happening, and there's a push for it right now. And I didn't even know about it till yesterday.
Well, this is the first I've heard about it, so we learn something every day, right?
Yeah, that's weird. We're living in a weird world, and so we could have Racket NX next year in the Olympics. Probably not.
Sure enough. Rec Room adds more flexibility to their avatar system with a new full body animated costume series. So the avatars, the otherwise very, plain avatars in Rec Room have now just become a lot more flashy and a lot more unique with fully animated full body costumes.
That's pretty cool, and one of the things I noticed in this article did reference VR chat, right? And it said that it's not going to go as far as VR chat does. I guess VR chat allows you to upload your own costume, so Rec Room still wants to control what you have in there. They're just going to give you more options, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is a big shift for Rec Room actually, and really, I think it's a cool way for people to have their own identity in there. My only question is performance. Like Rec Room historically for me has been something that is a resource hog.
Hmm.
And if you're having these full body things going on in there, if it becomes something that catches on, I question what kind of effect it might have on the various versions, be it PlayStation, be it Quest, what have you.
It won't exist. It'll be like the fact that you like on Quest version, what was it? The Battle Royale you couldn't play on. You can only play it on PC VR because it just was too much for whichever version it was. I can't remember if it was the PlayStation version or whatever. They'll just limit it. Or I guess a better example would be VR chat. You know, you have all these different animations or costumes you can do, but the mobile version you don't have certain options. You can only do certain ones from PC VR. So.
Yeah, I've been actually kind of itching to get back in the Rec Room lately. Like there's so much user created stuff in there that I've never really checked out. Like I've only went in and checked out the official stuff, but I mean it's almost like dreams. There's so much user created stuff in there now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was just seeing Onikazi's looking up the 21 statues. I said it's gonna be kind of like the big inflatable duck a few years ago going on tour. I don't. It's bizarre to me, man. The fact that this thing is gonna change appearance to whatever um his person it's gonna be and talk to you and sing and like just read the articles, man. Like it sounds cool, but it sounds really weird. I feel like I woke up in a movie, Wes. The good news is VR is where I want it to be. Other than that, it's a very dystopian, weird world.
Topsy turvy world.
Topsy turvy.
Lipnox VR. If you play Rec Room, check out the Little Nightmares level. It's insanely good.
Hmm.
See, this is how what a Rec Room novice I am. I wouldn't have any idea how to do that. I guess I would go search Little Nightmares somehow in the menu. I have no idea.
How cool, man, for something that's free. And no wonder why when that one kid that I asked when he had that Oculus Quest 2, which game his favorite game was, he said was Rec Room. And I don't think it was because, at least going by the house I was treating, it wasn't because they don't have money. It was because he loves Rec Room.
So much to do in there, man. I mean, there's really a lot of stuff to do in
It's
there. The
perfect,
quest, I
perfect
love
for
the
your family,
quest.
right?
Yeah, yeah, because it's free and it's crossplay and it's on every device.
Yep, absolutely.
Tetris Effect connected multiplayer update and Steam launch has been pushed to August. So Tetris Effect connected update was uh, undertaking some very public beta testing over the course of the last month, and apparently they aren't quite as ready as they thought they were. Again, this is a multiplayer update, which is going to be crossplay enabled among all platforms. So, a very ambitious update. Certainly understandable that they might have to push it back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least they're gonna do it and have it come out right. That's what all that matters, right? Libnox VR says just type Little Nightmares in and it'll show up. I think it's officially a Little Nightmares 2 level. How cool.
I love Little Nightmares, man. So, yeah,
Who
I'll try to
doesn't?
remember that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anyway, Roots, I'm looking forward to this Tetris Effect connected update. It's unfortunate we have to wait another month to play it, but at the same time, I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show. We've got enough to tide us over, I think.
We've been waiting for so long for this, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It had a year exclusive. So this is it's been a while, bro. We've been waiting for this connect. I want it. I want it now. But I'll wait a month. I'll be okay.
Cross platform multiplayer games, Roots, in Tetris. How
Well,
about that?
well, this is where we're starting to head. You know what I mean? Like all these games need to be cross-platform, cross-play. You're seeing it even with consoles, with like Call of Duties and stuff. They're realizing bringing everybody together. I mean, how much more sense does it make anyway, from a standpoint of, say, if you're Call of Duty and and they're having Xbox has to do the servers for it or however they do it. Well, wouldn't it be nice if you could split that cost with multiple companies and all of you pay for the server together, right? I would think that would be cheaper. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, naive.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't pretend to.
Gamer tags dropping in says half of you haven't hit the like button. What the hell is wrong with you? We appreciate you, gamer tag. How is your Sunday going for you?
Yeah, good call, GT. Way to whip him into shape. That reminds Scion, he hasn't hit the thumbs down yet either.
Yeah, well, every once in a while. I can't remember the last one. I think it was the Valve one. People got pissed.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not nearly what I expected, honestly.
No, because you reported it as the news it was. I mean, it's not. There's nothing else you can do. Say, hey, this is what's happening. Well, don't shoot the messenger.
The press still hasn't picked that one up. I think I'm going to have to leak it, or either that, or maybe nobody wants it. But I
Well,
got to imagine that the larger media would want to report on that.
it depends. You kind of nailed it earlier when we were talking off air about how it's funny. There's a lot. I mean, you would think that there might be people that would say, "Whoa, why would you even bring that up about Valve?"
Right.
Like Valve might come out with something down the road, and you want them to like you. I'm sure there's other press outlets that don't want Valve pissed off either. So,
Well, I want my Steam Deck sample, right? My review sample.
I'm pretty sure we're not getting the Steam Deck sample. That's my theory. That would be cool though. Wouldn't it be weird if they sent it like so off the wall? Be like, this isn't even a flat game channel. You'd think it'd be going to that retro guy, even though it's not. He's not really doing Steam games.
Gamer tag fighting the good fight says, please fix this. Likes and comments are the easier way to push the show for the lads or anyone who you enjoy on YouTube.
Mm.
If you don't, the good content stays hidden. So apparently, Gamertag has done something that we have never done and actually looked at the algorithm. And he knows likes and comments are important.
Well, we do call ourselves the best kept secret on YouTube. So I don't know what we would do if, like, all of a sudden we blew up. We couldn't say that anymore. So. I mean,
Lipnox VR, for the record, I still like the Valve News video, even if I wasn't a fan of the lawsuit. Well, thank you,
yes.
Lipnox. You're a reasonable person, as are most of the people in our community.
Most. Well, and we try to pepper it in with our personality, no matter what we're talking about. So that's what you're here for, I think. Anyway.
Actually, what I think people are here for, Roots, is these people want to talk about Hellsweeper VR.
Who doesn't?
Last month, SAIRENTO VR developer Mixed Realms showcased a teaser clip of their next VR game, Hellsweeper VR. Today, they released an extended trailer for the game, which is targeting a 2022 release. Hellsweeper VR is best described as a roguelike first person combat simulator. You play as an undead immortal who's on a mission to take out the scumbags of hell. Every game is different due to the roguelike nature, and you will train yourself well in the different weapons and special powers to traverse the different dimensions. Hellsweeper occurs in an alternate world, but it borrows a few mechanics from SAIRENTO, especially its locomotion system. They're keeping SAIRENTO's locomotion while improving its arcade style action with semi realistic physics, allowing you to pull off even crazier moves like juggling enemies in the air. Combat is the bread and butter of Hellsweeper VR, and they intend to let players enjoy the experience down two tracks: physical combat and the magic system. Advanced players can choose to combine both to greater effect. On top of the gameplay, they're also improving the graphics, animations, and the overall visual experience. Now, this next part people need to pay attention to because a lot of confusion around this. Hellsweeper VR will not feature a story campaign. This is a quote from Mixed Realms. Quote, we don't think storytelling is our strength. So instead of trying to develop a subpar campaign, we decided to deploy our limited resources to making the game shine in terms of the gameplay and the mechanics. Having said that, we would still offer a background story to give context to the universe of Hellsweeper. Hellsweeper VR will not launch into early access, but The devs will be offering free access to a public alpha test in August or September. Mixed Realms plans to release Hellsweeper VR on the Oculus and PC VR stores in quarter 3 of 2022, with a console launch coming at a later date.
Mm.
So a lot of excited people for this game, Roots. They released an awesome looking trailer today. Led to a lot of speculation about what type of game this
Mm.
might be, and now we know. Now we know this is a roguelike combat game.
Is there a story campaign? No, just kidding. I'll tell you what, there doesn't need to be a story campaign. I like, this is why I love a story. I like a good story, but if they think that's not their strength, then don't, beat a dead horse and try to do something that you're not comfortable with. Focus on what you can do well. My only thing is there needs to be progression. Then something needs to pull you through this game. If I'm just walking around killing stuff, that's going to get old fast. But if I'm switching weapons, if I'm unlocking weapons, if I'm leveling up, and there's like different aspects, like a returnal type of aspect, or even what's the cosmophobia, or just different things that you're progressing. There's a progression. There's something to go into and continue pulling me through. Then absolutely, because this game looks amazing.
Initially I was upset when I read that there wasn't going to be a story campaign here, but then I read all that they're saying about the game, and I really looked at this new trailer they put out, and then it dawned on me what this game actually is going to be. You know what this is going to be, Roots?
Hmm.
This is going to be in death. This is going to be an in death game with guns and magic,
Hmm.
and instead of these gothic creatures that in death you're going to be fighting demons in hell. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal if they nail the gameplay. And coming from Mixed Realms, I'm willing to bet that they do.
I guess, well, there are a couple things too. Is like the mechanics of moving around is so amazing for SAIRENTO, right? Being able to jump on the ceiling, flip around upside down, doing all that stuff, incorporating that into this game. And then, like you said, I never really thought of it from that standpoint. People will get all sorts torn up about not having a story, but they'll rave about in death because they've played it and it works. You know what I mean? But your first thought isn't that it's going to work. So I think this is cool. I think if they do it right, it's going to be amazing. And I hope they have a progression system. I know in death doesn't really. I know it's different stuff you can unlock. I guess it does. You have on stuff you can unlock and buy and different things or whatever. I just it's so far outside my realm of ever feeling like I'm going to progress in it. I like to pretend the progression's not there, then I feel better about it, Wes.
Yeah, certainly a daunting task progressing in
It
death, and
hard,
uh,
dude.
you know who loves it though when it's hard?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she does. She actually gets really pissed if it's not.
Anyway, I think this is going to be a fun, fast-paced game. They're calling it a spiritual successor to SAIRENTO. So even though it's not the Cyber Ninja type stuff, there's going to be a lot of SAIRENTO in this game. Uh, but yeah, I think this game is pretty much in terms of structure and what you're doing. This is going to be in depth with again with guns, with magic, with a lot more varied enemies and a lot more varied ways for you to deal with the enemies. And I think it's going to be a load of fun.
Yeah, looks amazing.
Not the only news we got this week, though, as we also got an update to Swarm. Developer Green Sky Games just announced a new content update to one of this year's best VR releases, Swarm. The Champions Update, as they're calling it, introduces the new Champions Challenge game mode. This mode is not for beginners, but rather for grizzled veterans.
Mm.
Players will face off against new and old foes in a relentless battle that's different every week. You'll start in casual mode, and the longer you survive, the more deadly your opponents become. Survive as long as possible to put your name in its rightful place on the champions leaderboard. The new mode is still a work in progress, with the studio iterating on the Champions Challenge to make it better each week. The new update's available now and also includes several bug fixes and performance improvements to the original base game. So here we have it, Roots. New content update for uh, one of my favorite games of the year, Swarm. Um, but Swarm, as it stands, is already crazy hard, in my opinion. Uh, I can't imagine what a nightmare this Champions Challenge is going to be.
Well, if you want to imagine it at all, I don't know if you've done this yet or not, just put it on the hardest mode that exists, and it is very, very crazy and difficult. It's fun. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been back in. I might have to go check this out. I feel like I would be a little bit rusty. But you know what's funny about this game, Wes? I feel like I've played a significant amount more than you probably have time wise, just because I've put a lot of time into it. But I feel like you had the nature of the game down better. Like, it's just as I don't know that I ever got control of full auto on my guns and knowing when I was had them or not. You know what I mean? And when you were describing like building it up and just there's a lot of different aspects to this game that I just never paid attention to and probably never will. But it's just that's how detail oriented you are. You know what I mean? That's why you went through Returnal for 20 hours before you probably even beat the first boss because you really dug in, dude, and hit every morsel. And Roots is like passing it all. So it's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people play it your way with regards to Returnal. I'm the enjoyment of the game for me was exploring the map. That it wasn't about beating the bosses for me. The only reason I beat the bosses is so I could go explore the next world. So it was kind of uh, a perfect fit for me with regards to grinding because I enjoyed the grind in that game.
It's every corner, man. You never know. You might turn around a corner and find something that's like a parasite that is like next level. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh my god, that is phenomenal. And then you get excited and you start building, right? And then all of a sudden, someone Charlie Browns your ass and pulls the football out behind from underneath you, and you fall on your back, and you get back up and do it again.
Anyway, Champions Challenge in Swarm. It's a basically see how long you can go without dying. Is basically from what I'm understanding here. They're going to continue throwing waves at you. It's a horde mode, but unlike most horde modes where you'll be standing in some spot waiting on enemies to come towards you, you're going to be in these crazy platform arenas flying around in every direction. I think if you're going to have a horde mode, I think this is probably going to be the greatest horde mode of all time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you said it's oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. That does. It sounds amazing. Actually, it just sounds like it fits everything that you're doing. And oh, so every week you said it's gonna be different, right? The different challenges. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, and they're asking for feedback. Like, they want people to play this thing and then tell them what to do with it. And I'll tell them right now what to do with it.
Multiplayer.
Make it 2 players, bro. I need to swing around with Roots.
That'd be cool, dude. I think it would be cool because it'd be chaos, right? And then I might actually feel like I can handle this.
Yeah, and with the leaderboards and the challenge thing being time based, they wouldn't really even have to rebalance the enemies. They could leave the game literally as it is and just put a second player in it and have a like a doubles leaderboard.
Yeah, yeah, because you wouldn't even need to. I mean, if it was too easy, I guarantee that the hardest mode's not going to be too easy for two people. So
Right, right, exactly. If it's doubles, then maybe it just defaults to the hardest difficulty.
yeah,
Wolveraza, I still need to grab Swarm. It's amazing. It is amazing. It's a great game. Um, and it's virtually identical on the standalone as well.
yeah, it's a
In
cool game.
fact, it's kind of the only way to play it, right?
Yeah, if you want to play wire, I mean, you can play it with turning sticks, but it's definitely going to gimp you if you can just whip around. This is the ultimate wireless game.
Ray Delator says you guys can be swingers. Oh yeah,
Oh,
just like she taught me.
you know who else likes to be a swinger, Wes?
My mom!
I just don't talk about it. She gets pissed about that.
Right? Yeah, she don't. She's very discreet.
Very discreet.
Sean from Rendered Reality said that Swarm has a multiplayer beta coming. Yeah, we heard that from Mateo 311, who's one of the community managers over there on that Discord. Early on, before the game even released, we heard about this multiplayer functionality coming. But I'm curious whether it actually ever comes, because we heard the same thing about VR. We heard the same thing about Jupiter, and we're still waiting, right?
Yeah, I don't see that comment for some reason. Is it way up there, or did I just somehow miss it?
Well, I was going to ask you if you're on Top Chat, but I'm on Top Chat.
Mm,
So apparently you need to be on the Top Chat, bro.
I was gonna say I see it on live chat. I'm on live chat. But yeah, no, I that's weird.
So I switched to live chat now that I'm aware of it.
But yeah,
Um,
well, that's cool. Well, I definitely maybe we have our hopes coming soon. And yeah, this game is definitely worth picking up. Wolveraza, I would say, if I had to say on a scale of 1 to 10 on games, whether you should pick it up or not, I'd say it's a 10. Specifically you, because you like shooting guns. I think you'd love it. So
yeah, and plus we were in the accolades promo for it. So I mean, you
oh,
got to buy it
that's
now.
true. That's true. They said that virtual strangers. That was actually kind of cool, man. You know, like who doesn't want to be in a trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah, you guys are all bound. You all have to buy VR, and you all have to buy Swarm because they put us in the accolades promo.
What's funny is like I'm actually proud of that because they're both amazing games that I would want people to get. You know what I mean? What would be the worst thing is like you've recommended a game that sucks and that's the one they pushed and you're like, "Oh dude, no, don't buy it, please." Definitely buy it. This game's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, incredible. And some VR news coming soon as well, as apparently the Quest version is now complete and ready, hitting open beta test this week.
It's going to it's going to do so well, dude. There's
Yeah.
nothing like it on the Quest. Nothing. So,
No, and if you've seen any of the footage, man, they did a phenomenal job porting it.
that's awesome.
But yeah, if you guys are interested in checking that out, hit up the VR Discord server. They're taking applications this weekend for beta testers.
Okay, cool. Well, I definitely I probably won't take that spot away from somebody, but that's cool.
Spaced Innocent says, "Dang, multiplayer Swarm, yeah, that's what they said, man. And it's a perfect game for it, right? Like it would fit perfectly in on that game.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be like Winlands, but better.
Yep. All right. Well, moving on. We've got news this week on the Half-Life Alex Return to Rapture mod. Back in October, notable Half-Life Alex modder Wim Beitert, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Wim Beitert, released Return to Rapture, a Bioshock-inspired Half-Life Alex mod. As has been the case with Wim's earlier releases, what started as a simple mod grew to become the first chapter in a series that will eventually comprise a full, proper campaign. This past week, the master creator shared a first look at Return to Rapture Chapter 2. The second installment is said to add around 20 more levels to the already popular experience. Chapter 2 will make use of around 3,000 assets from the original Bioshock. More importantly, though, iconic enemies like splicers and, yes, Big Daddies will be fully animated enemies in this installment. You'll no longer just be fighting Alex's usual enemies. This mod will give AI to splicers that can either shoot at you or use melee attacks, and the Big Daddies will have certain weak spots to exploit. Interactive elements like usable slot machines are also being added, as are new voice actors and even a crafting system for ammo. Resin is gone and instead swapped out with the coin system to bring the game closer to an authentic experience. There are upscaled textures, cloth physics added to assets from both Bioshock and Alex, and new custom weapons. There's no exact date for when the full mod will launch just yet, but it is expected to arrive sometime later this year. Roots, we've talked a lot in the past about Half-Life Alex mods, and as cool and awesome as they are, and some of them are just incredible. Um, we always kind of lament the fact that you're always looking at Half-Life Alex assets. You're always fighting Half-Life Alex enemies in these mods. Uh, but we knew the day would come when somebody exceptionally talented would bring in their own assets and really make a fresh game in Source 2. And it looks like Return to Rapture might just be the first big example of this.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I never played Bioshock, so I just watching the assets. I'm like, wow, this looks phenomenal. Sharks flying. I guess it's like an underwater level, right? Or world or whatever, Atlantis or whatever. I just think it's super cool, and the implications for Source 2. I've been waiting for the first thing like this, because Counter Strike. It's because it's history and it's so long ago, people forget that that was actually created by somebody in the source one, and then they adopted it into an actual game, right? And so why couldn't somebody was saying in the comments that it's really cool on Lipnox how Bioshock devs, how they let them use the real assets. Well, why not? I mean, as long as they're putting it in there, they're creating a world. Maybe this turns into a Bioshock type of game and they pick it up and then they'd polish it and put it out. I mean, I doubt it, but you never know. This is at some point this is going to happen, and this is, like you said, the first real iteration or example of that happening. And I think it's really cool to finally see something different. You had me at no resin and coins. So
Yeah, dude, 3,000 assets being imported into the game. We're talking about custom AI for custom enemies. We're talking about voice actors and new physics. I mean, it makes me feel sorry for this guy that he can't properly sell
mm.
this on Steam, right?
It-
Now, obviously, you can support him by joining his Patreon. And if this is like his other releases in Half Life Alex community, you will gain access early
mm.
by supporting on Patreon.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was looking at Luke Ross's Patreon the other day, and he's got close to 800 people on there. Times $10, a month. So you got to figure that you can make a lot of money. And if you want to see stuff like this, that's the best way to let this guy know to continue doing what he's doing. And I don't know what he's doing if he's got a side job. If this is his side job, but if he makes enough money, it might become his full time job if it already isn't. So
Well, I'm sure this guy's making some real coin because I mean he's hiring voice actors and shit,
that's
man.
true.
I mean, those don't come cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is exciting, dude. This is the first time that I've been excited about the Half-Life Alex mods in a while because, like you said, as cool as it has been, it's been the same assets, and we just have so many other things to check out. But if I can go into this world specifically, I've never been in like an Atlantis type of a game where I'm underwater and who knows what the hell this thing's gonna have. That's cool, dude.
Well,
Sharks, bro.
ever since the onset of VR, BioShock has been at the top of everyone's wish list, including myself. Like to have a proper BioShock VR game, and don't get it twisted. There one day will be a BioShock VR game, an official BioShock VR game. Too many people want it for it not to happen. But until then, it's nice that we have very talented creators such as Wim here, uh, who recognize that there's a demand for it and is putting the work in to make it a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Lipnock says, I would be surprised if someone isn't trying to hire him out officially after this. And that's going to be the case for all of these things, as somebody puts out all these mods. And that's probably the dream of most of these people is to be hired on by a big studio, right? Bethesda or whoever. And so, like, you're just showcasing yourself. You're doing it, you're putting it out there. And then eventually you get to a point where these companies, they snatch you up. And then we benefit because then the development into the game that we want, like the BioShock. Imagine if they do a BioShock game and they bring this guy in. I think it'd help, right? It could be good. So
Yeah, yeah. Olympnox, BioShock 1 is perfect for VR. It is, it really is. And I'm torn. I'm torn on it because I think you can actually have a pretty good experience playing BioShock in Vortex.
mm,
The problem is, and normally I don't mind playing with a gamepad, but BioShock specifically is a game that you want to have full motion controller support. I want to inject myself with these syringes. I want to pick up the little sisters with my own hands. You know what I mean?
mm. I don't know what you mean because I've never played the game, but um,
What,
my son's played it.
dude?
I know, there's so many series, so many games that I picked up that I just never played that my kids played. This was one of them. He said it was good. So
BioShock is an all-time great, man. It's an all-time great game.
I'll get to
And
play it for the first time in VR. That'll be cool.
yeah, I don't know if I'd wait if I were you, man. I think go kick out of Returnal, go straight into BioShock, man.
Dude, Returnal, we're talking 100 hours plus, bro. Like, I'm just now with the part where I can maybe I can beat the boss, dude. I attacked the boss with half life just to show people what the boss was, and I got to the third phase about a quarter of the way down and died. So I was doing pretty good, and it's just I had no wiggle room. I had no extra life. I had I had nothing. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go in half life, no parasites, like, you know what I mean? No upgrades. I was still on my level 0 gun. Like I had no business being in there, Wes, and I still almost beat him. That was
Well,
crazy.
a lot of people say that that's the approach you should take. You should go straight to the boss, screw the world, screw all of it, just go straight to the boss and practice, and that's how you should play.
There's not even really much practice. I watched a good video on it, just on how to tell what's happening, right? The tells. He's got tells. He does certain things, and when you see certain things happening, you get the fuck out of
Right.
the way. You know what I mean?
There's two methods you can go by. You could practice or you could watch a video.
I watched the video because I figured I need to see what's going on and see, like, it's just like it's the World of Warcraft player in me. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than somebody showing up to a raid and you get into the boss fight and they die to the mechanics and you're like, dude, did you watch the video? And they're like, no. Like, well, dude, go watch it real quick because you just wiped the raid. So I got that mentality in my head.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're playing Tarkov and shit like that. You have to watch videos or you're doomed.
That's true.
Anyway, really looking forward to checking out Return to Rapture. I still haven't played the first chapter of it, so I'll probably just wait. I'll wait until chapter 2 comes out, and that way I'll
Yeah.
have a nice long bit of gameplay to look forward to.
I'm gonna do it too. Then we can talk about it on the show.
Absolutely. But for those of you out there who have Half-Life Alex and have beaten it or want some who want to play more but don't want to replay through the game again. There's tons of great uh, content in the community, stuff that isn't really going to spoil the game for you at all. A lot of really good horror
Mm.
experiences that have been made for it. Um,
Talk about content,
eh,
dude. Like if you just got your VR and you bought Half-Life Alex and that's the only game you could afford to play or buy, I mean, you're talking probably 100 plus hours at least of content, right? If not more.
yep,
So that's it's definitely worth its cost of admission. I mean, it's not only the one of the best games, if not the best game in VR, PC VR. But it's definitely amazing.
yeah, yeah, amazing game, must own by any standard.
Yep.
All right, one more news item before we get into the week's reminders. I thought we'd take another look at Runner. Earlier this year, Truant Pixel, the studio behind 2MD Football, revealed their next project. Runner is an upcoming Akira inspired run and gun racer, which can only be experienced through the magic of VR. The studio recently showed off a bit more in a few teaser videos and GIFs that gives us a peek at enemy encounters, upgrades, and obstacles coming to the game. Truant Pixel released a video back in June, which gives us a second major look at the game following its initial reveal video in April. In the video, we get a look at some of the road hazards, a few newly revealed enemies, and a few weapons, all framed by really interesting hand drawn explosions and other cool looking cel shaded effects. Since that teaser, the studio has thrown out a few other looks at the game, including a massive six legged enemy type, which seems to be inspired by the Takikoma from Ghost in the Machine, or Ghost in the Shell, rather. Truant Pixel has shared that Runner will include autonomous motorcycles, UAVs, hunter killer tanks, sniper quadrupeds, covert assassin vehicles, and unique boss battles. They've also revealed a slow motion mechanic that may be tied to a certain type of laser in the game. Runner does not have a launch window yet. However, it's said to be launching on all major VR headsets, including Oculus Quest, Steam VR, and even, yes, PlayStation 5 VR. Roots, uh, the more I see of Runner, the more I can't wait to get my hands on it. And, we talk about resolution games and how they progressed from game to game to game. Truant Pixel's been supporting 2MD football forever, and there's a lot of great iterations of that game. But this does seem like a very real step up and some real progression from Truant Pixel as a studio.
I like the artwork, man. Like as it's looking around the city, it's so colorful, right? It has that real cool futuristic vibe to it. And looks like you got two different weapons, right? One on your actual motorcycle and then one in your hand as well. So I wonder what else they've got as far as different types of weapons. But definitely looks really cool.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed about this footage as well that I think is really going to play well. You can tell that your right hand is mainly used for shooting uh, from a handheld weapon, but your left hand is used to steer the bike that you're riding. But that's okay because your bike also has a gun on it. So you're not only steering with the left hand, but you're also using it in an offensive fashion, which is going to allow you to use the two weapons to corral enemies that are in front of you. And I think this looks a lot of fun. A lot of people look at it and see Akira. I'll look at it and see a little bit of Road Rash, right? We've all, or I guess not all of us, but many of us have always wanted a proper motorcycle battle like Road Rash. And there's some cool stuff out there. Hell Road VR comes to mind. But this looks great as well, and it looks very fast paced. And you said it, man. It's the vibe. You can have cool artwork, you can have cool sound, but to capture that vibe is something special, and we won't know until we get it in the headset whether or not it's there. But it certainly looks like it from this early footage.
No, Wolveraza says it seems like you lean your head to move, but hard to tell. The only thing that would that would be cool. The only thing that would lean me away from that was when the person turned around and looked up at the buildings and stuff. I don't know how that would mess with you if you were moving forward and you were trying to look backwards and you know what I mean, if you were leaning. Um, but it definitely looks like there's definitely a lot of maneuverability. So uh,
Yeah, Wolveraza says, "Oh, so actual use of hand controls for motion. I think it's stick. I think it's going to be stick control, but I could be wrong. There are other ways that they could go about it. Obviously, there's lots of sensors in that left hand, but I don't think it's. I mean, there might be some aspects of gaze based to it, but as you can see from this and even the earlier footage, that the player's looking around in all directions, but they constantly continue to move forward. So I don't think it's gaze based steering.
yeah. But however they do it, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it looks awesome. It looks like a game that's going to translate well to all the various platforms, and I'm sure that there's going to be benefits to playing it on, console or PC as well, because this is the type of game. You know, for some games, the difference between standalone and PC is only a few lighting effects. But when you talk about this type of game, a few lighting effects can make a gigantic difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Lighting's big, huge, and everything. So
Yeah. Anyway, really looking forward to Runner. Just thought that we'd share some of this new footage with you guys in case you missed it. The only place that I think any of this stuff can be found is on Twitter. And I mean, there's more. There were a couple other clips that were just a little too short to bother with. So if you want to see more, follow Truant Pixel on Twitter.
yep.
And that wraps up this week's news and bring us into the week's reminders. And as was the case last week, Roots, we got some releases this week as well. The Secret of Retropolis from Peanut Button coming to Steam VR on July the 21st. Very story heavy puzzler here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I was looking at it and definitely looks very intriguing. I feel bad for that robot already. Peanut Button. I bet people were pissed that that name was stolen. I never would have thought I'd seen that as a developer.
Yeah, some of these developers have wild names, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But this looks intriguing. I don't know. It depends on what the cost is going to be, but looks like you're going on a mystery, bro. So
Yeah. Looks like it has some heavy science fiction influence in there as well. So yeah, I mean, you never know until you get the game in your hands, but this one looks like it could be pretty cool.
yeah.
In the Hoop from Realcast hit Steam VR on the same day, July 21st. This already out on App Lab, Roots. I did not know that. I
Hmm.
knew it was coming. I remember the reveal trailer for it, and I remembered that, I'm hoping that there are two-handed controls in this so that it can be an actual proper basketball game.
Hmm.
What I didn't know is that the game's already out on App Lab.
I'd like to check it out. This is pretty cool. I like how the rim actually bounces or moves. You know, it's a little bit more realistic when it comes to physics, right? Um, but you know what's funny as I'm watching this video, Wes, because of my Bobo VR, it's weird to see a strap on the top anymore because mine doesn't have a strap on top anymore because of the Bobo VR headset. It's like weird
Yeah.
to see people adjusting that, you know.
I actually put the strap on my Bobo VR because those, I speculated when I first got it that those little knobs might wear on my head a little bit,
Mm.
and they absolutely do. They start to hurt
Well,
after like 15
you're
minutes.
not wearing it right.
Okay.
So basically, this is the way the Bobo VR, and then maybe you are wearing it right. Maybe I'm off base, but this is what I figured out because I had the same problem in the beginning. The way it's designed is you literally have to take the back I mean, it has to be cupped around the back of your skull. Like you bring that down first, cup it, and then just tighten it, and then adjust the front, and it doesn't put the pressure on that. But most people, if it's not all the way back there, it's going to be down too far, and it's going to put pressure on those knobs. And I know exactly what you're talking about, and it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I was like, how can people be recommending this? And that's why I was like, there has to be something I'm doing wrong. So see if that helps, but and maybe it's just me, but it seems like that
Well,
is the case.
that's on my secondary headset that the children use, and they were complaining about it hurting as well.
Mm.
So I just went ahead and put the strap on it for them. It comes with a strap that you can. There's even a slot. If you look on the back, there's a slot to run the strap through, and it works. It works well.
Space Dennison says I cut those knobs off. Like screw that crap, bro. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're not wearing it properly, what I'm thinking, absolutely, I'd cut that shit off too. It hurts, dude. Like you wonder,
Yeah.
like I just wondered how in the hell are people saying this, recommending this as the best headset thing, as most comfortable ever if you've got these knobs digging into the middle of your head. So
That's where Gabon's going to put the electrodes at.
yeah, absolutely. Science says I got a growth in the back of my head. I got a little alien. That's why you never see me really turn around. I try to hide him back there. He's in
Okay.
my beard.
Well, it's understandable. Yuki from Arvor. We talked about it earlier. Launching on the 22nd, later this week, for Quest, for Rift, for
Mm,
Steam VR. Multi platform launch, as usual, for Arvor.
must buy, bro. This game. You know what I mean? Even if you've never played it, just looking at it, knowing the two games that came before it, and then looking at everything on top of it, it's like, how do you not want to buy this game? This is a day one buy for me.
All right, so why don't we do for Wednesday? Let's do Yuki. Let's do. Well, I think we kind of need to do Synth Riders while it's fresh, and and then I'll talk. We'll talk a little bit about the other thing, and then if we have time, we'll get in some Squingle too. But definitely talk about Yuki and Synth Riders this Wednesday.
Yeah, and like Onakazi just reminded, if you don't want to wait till the 22nd, if you pre-order now, you get to play it on the 20th. You get 2 days early on those suckers waiting.
Yeah, dude, and that's really cool and something that I expect we'll see more of going forward. I forgot what it was, but I read about another game doing this very same thing. So,
Why not?
um,
Give them incentive. Give people incentive to buy it early. It makes sense. So,
oh, I think I know what it is, but we can't talk about that right now.
oh yeah, Cyan says
Anyway,
the thing. The thing, yes, Cyan.
okay,
The thing. You'll find out about the thing on Wednesday.
yeah, we'll talk about the thing on Wednesday. See, today's Sunday. I We can talk about the thing on. Never mind.
Yeah,
Soon.
soon, soon and very
Anyway,
soon.
lots of cool stuff happening this week. Good games coming out. Good show lined up for Wednesday. You're not going to want to miss it. Be sure you tune in. Get your nap in so you can stay up late.
Absolutely.
All right, and that brings us to our next set of reminders, which is this is the part of the show where we ask you all to do your part to support these fine developers who bring us these awesome games by joining us in real time as we wish list a game together. So, cool stuff this week. I'm not sure how much of this stuff actually is going to have a page, though. Like, does Hellsweeper have a Steam page yet? I don't
I don't know.
know.
That's a good question. I don't know. I just fixed your window in real time. That's how things roll around here. Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, it seems like enough of it's out there now. What I wouldn't expect a page for would probably be that other game, Hell or not Hellsweeper, Runner. Just because if you had to go to Twitter to get the video, I doubt there's a page, but I could be wrong.
See here. Hellsweeper. No Hellsweeper.
Scion has a very, very amazing but terrifying idea for a game. Imagine the movie The Thing as a VR game, multiplayer, and trying to figure out who is infected. What a good movie that movie was, dude. Like Kurt Russell, dude. I can't even imagine. You know, I'm looking over and Wes is saying he's not the thing, and all of a sudden his head detaches from his body and then starts to scurry along the floor. Ah, how crazy would that be?
So yeah, none of our four major topics this week are actually on Steam right now. So I'm going to wish list The Secret of Retropolis.
That's a good idea. I will as well.
So there we
And
are.
I think
Oh,
I thought I already had Into Hoop, but I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah, and obviously we already own Swarm. Um, wonder if
Zaylen
Swarm.
Maru says they'd love the thing as a VR. It'd be horrifying. It would be horrifying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, VR makes everything so real, right? So I'm sure it would be terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings us to our final set of reminders this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to help support us and our community. Of course, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, click the big red button, click the bell. That's how you keep up with all of our videos. And boy, do we have some good stuff incoming this week. Chock full of good content. Um, and the only way that you're going to know about it is if you click the red button and click the bell.
Yeah, and if you
For
weren't
those
here,
of you,
oh, if you weren't here
I'm sorry.
for a gamer tag earlier, his Discord when he was talking about the likes and dislikes and stuff, he said, make sure you like the video as well because I mean, obviously, that's the only way we're gonna break out of this best kept secret thing. We are the best kept secret on YouTube. We're a hidden gem, and we need to be showcased. So,
Mepper also wishlisted the Secret of Retropolis.
ooh, yeah, that's good.
Good
Good,
call, Mepper.
yeah, good call.
Anyway, for those of you who clicked the things many, many months or even years at this point ago, and you would like to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. $3 per month. That's all we ask. $3 per month gets you our weekly show notes. It gets you exclusive insider updates as well as exclusive content. $3 per month, Virtual Strangers Patreon. What a deal, Roots.
Yeah, what a deal. And also, I guess as long as you're joining the Patreon, also come home because we miss you and we've got the bed made up and the lights on, and Wes made some porridge and he's ready for you.
Yeah, so what Roots is talking about is the invitation in the description down below, the invitation into the Virtual Strangers Discord. It's open for anyone who loves VR and loves to talk about VR. Uh, you know, we call it home for the hardcore VR gaming enthusiasts, but you don't have to be hardcore. You can just kind of be like, VR is okay. As long as you're not saying it's dead, then you're welcome into our home. So come on in, make it your own home. Virtual Strangers Discord, link in the description below.
And I have to say, Wes, maybe a minute or two off, but
We did it. We did the hour and a half, bro.
we made it. We squeezed it in.
We did it. We're getting better at it, Roots. I can feel it. I've felt it over the last few times we've done this. We're starting to get a handle on the timing of these things.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, we don't want to ruin that. So, with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you sooner than you think.
Yeah.